The Copa Libertadores final is here, played at the famous Maracanã Stadium. It is Fluminense, who are playing at their home stadium, trying to go for their first ever Libertadores trophy, going up against Boca, who are trying to go for a record 7th Libertadores trophy. Which storyline will prevail, which players will prevail, and we are seeing some young stars in the making for both teams, and some old superstars that were playing in Europe trying to go for their first ever Libertadores trophy. Welcome to the Michael Talks Football channel. If you're new around, remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Now let's get straight into the preview and prediction of this year's final. So for Fluminense, they finished first in their group during the group stage. They even destroyed River Plate 5-1 in one game. And then the knockout stage, they had an intriguing tie with Argentino Juniors. 1-1 the first leg. They win the second leg 2-0 with 2 late goals. Then they had a pretty easy game against Olimpia. They won the tie 5-1 in aggregate. And you just thought to yourself, is this finally time now for Fluminense to win their first ever Libertadores? Then they had the dramatic semifinals up against Internacional. The first leg ended 2-2. They were even down to 10 men, but Germancano came up with the clutch goal to equalize the tie, and the second tie was just dramatic. They were 1-0 down after the first half, but in the last 15 minutes, they scored 2 goals to send themselves to a final in their own stadium. And when we think of Fluminense, we immediately think of the manager Diniz. He's of course now the interim manager for the Seleção. He plays a very attractive style of football, kind of that jogo bonito that we associate with Brazilian football. There's no real structure where players are just assigned to one space. It's very much just free-flowing, thinking on your feet, and people are drawn to this style of football. While it can be great sometimes, it can also be horrendous at times, basically with the amount of space they leave to opponents. But they are a very exciting team to watch, and when you think of some of the players that they have, Marcelo, of course, trying to go for his first ever Libertadores, and Marcelo is trying to become the 14th player in footballing history to win the Copa Libertadores and the Champions League. Will he be able to achieve this? Then we also think of Felipe Melo, Fabio in goal, who's like 45 years old. He should be retired, but he's still doing a great job. Andre, the young superstar that they have, and many teams are scouting the young star, especially Liverpool. But the attack, you think of Ganso and Germancano. This guy, Germancano, has been utterly ridiculous this season in the Copa Libertadores. It seems every game he gets a goal. So no doubt Fluminense are going to play their style of football and are going to try and dictate play during this matchup. And then we move on to Boca Juniors, who are going to try and match Independiente for 7 Copa Libertadores trophies, and they've had also a very dramatic road to this final. They had a very easy group with Monagas, Colo-Colo, and Pereira, and then the knockout stage, it was just about getting the results no matter what. First, they beat Nacional of Uruguay in the penalty shootout in the round of 16. 2-1, they were leading in the game. They give up a late goal in the last 20 minutes, and then, of course, Romero steps up in the penalty shootout, and Boca advanced to the quarterfinals. Similar story against Racing, 0-0 in both legs, goes to penalties, Romero steps up, and Boca advanced to the semifinals. And the semifinals, they were going up against Palmeiras, who have been dominating Copa Libertadores for the last couple of seasons. The first leg ended 0-0, where Boca were probably the better team and had a lot of chances to kill off the game. And in the second leg, Cavani stepped up finally for Boca Juniors and got the goal. But then Palmeiras equalized with the last 20 minutes after Marcos Rojo got a stupid red card. But yet again, Romero steps up and Boca win on penalties for the 3rd time in a row and advance to another final. And when you look at this Boca team, it's not the star-studded Boca teams that we have seen in the past, but they have some key players like Romero in goal, who's just been so clutch for them throughout this Copa Libertadores run. Medina, Fernandes in the midfield, and with the 2 Uruguayan strikers up top, Mertiel, and of course Edison Cavani. And can Cavani end up with a Copa Libertadores and add that to his trophy cabinet? I'm sure he is wanting that so badly. But my favorite player from this Boca Juniors team is Valentin Barco, the left back, left CM. He can play anywhere down that left side. I think he is so talented, and with the dribbling, he is going to be a key component. Now it's the predictions time. Everybody wants to see the predictions. This is a tough one to call because you look at Fluminense and Boca, and if you look at their recent form, it's not been great. But I need to tell people that they haven't really been playing their best squad in every game. Boca have now been dealing with 3 competitions, the Copa Argentina, the League, and the Copa Libertadores. And I think for Fluminense, they've just been focusing on this final and solely this final because this is what the fans want. They want to lift that trophy for the first time ever. Who is going to do it? You look at Diniz. This is now the time for Diniz. He's not really won a lot of trophies during his career. This is now his time. Then you look at the other side with Almiron, the Boca manager. I would kind of question his in-game management, especially, against Palmeiras. Really weird substitutions. This is the game where he has to get it on point. If you make any mistake against Fluminense, they will punish you. And which stars are going to rise to the occasion? Will it be Marcelo, Cavani, Felipe Melo, Germancano, Barco, Merentiel? There's so many individual talents in this game that can make a difference, and that's what makes it exciting. There's a big injury for Fluminense, and Nino, the center back, he is going to be out, and he has been amazing so far. I'm really stuck between two minds. You know, I would love to see both teams win because Brazilian dominance in the Libertadores has been going on for too long, so I want to see Boca win. But then there's a side of me that says I want to see Fluminense win because it's their first time ever, and I think Denise really does deserve this. And then if you look at the two contrasting styles, you know, Boca, I feel like are going to be a bit more defensive and hit them on the counterattack, and they have shown they can be threatening on the counterattack. While for Fluminense, it's a bit more about possession-based and creating those overloads, creating those triangles, and just progressing with the ball as a team. That's what makes Denise ball so beautiful, and they have the individual talent to make a difference in this game. So now that I'm stuck between two minds, and if I'm going to be a neutral perspective on this, I think this is now Fluminense's time. I think Fluminense are going to win this final 2-1. If this goes to penalties, we know who's winning it. It's only one winner, and that's Boca with Romero. There's no way. I can guarantee you, if this goes to penalties, Fluminense fans might as well just leave the stadium because Romero will win that penalty shootout. So the key thing for Fluminense is if you win this game, you got to do it in 90 minutes or 120 minutes because if you don't, might as well just give the trophy to Boca. But you can never count out this Boca side. They have not been the most prettiest. They haven't been the most dominant, I would say, in every tie of this run. But one thing is, they got freaking heart, and that is something they're going to need in this final. They're not going to play in their own stadium like Fluminense are. They're not going to be used to the surroundings. And maybe this final will galvanize that squad to win it, but I just think Fluminense, they got a bit too much individual talent. And in finals, you need that talent to overcome the opponent. And I think Fluminense will win the final 2-1 and lift their first ever Libertadores trophy. So there's the preview and prediction of this year's final. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know who's going to win. Who's going to be? Is it going to be a 7th title for Boca, or is it going to be the first one ever for Fluminense? And which player are you most excited to see in this final? If you're new around here, subscribe to the channel. And of course, we'll be doing a watch along for the final on Saturday. So have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. I will see you all Saturday, and adios.